I've got something really simple to do, which is to introduce Lucy Kimbell, the director of the Social Design Institute in its pilot year. But this afternoon, I've been spending my time in talks and events and workshops organized by the Social Design Institute, and it's made everything that much more complex and that much more confusing, and me that much more unsure about what it is all of this, the Institute, the university, is all about. Now, Jeremy's just given the most beautifully eloquent understanding of what the university is about, and I'm just going to trouble with that a little bit. All of that is absolutely what we're about. But universities are super complex things, and they're super odd things to be responsible for in terms of their strategic development. They are riven with tensions and ideas and challenges and debates. And I think the potential of a university is working out how you operate, how you run from within those debates. And the challenge of this university is to really engage with the complexity of the debates around creative arts and design, and then use those debates to forge our purpose and to forge our future. And that's never easy. Now, the university has decided to do that in a very particular way, by a couple of years ago deciding that we would bring into the university this concept of institutes that sit around our colleges and within the university, and are structures that we don't quite yet know what they're for or what they're about. They are definitely emerging, and we're working out what they're about, because they are about working out what the purpose is of a creative arts university now, and what the purpose of a creative arts university is in the future. So far, and this is a really exciting week for the Institute's project, we have 3 of them, and we have one in the back of our heads that we're identifying at the moment. But the 3 are the Creative Computing Institute. That's like a mini computer science department, but it's super radical. It's using code as material, and it's not at all technocratic. It's really challenging what technology is about and what its place is in the future when we're confronting so many challenges. But it has undergraduate courses, it has postgraduate courses, it has research students. It is a mini department, and 90 new students are joining us this September in that institute on a really radical and exciting project. Then we have an institute which, like the Social Design Institute, is also in its pilot year, which is the Decolonizing Arts Institute, which brings together a long history of research in the university and a long history of activism in the university around social difference, diversity, race and racism theory. And it's about working out the place of that and how we need to change in the future within this institution, and how the world needs to change, and the part that we can play within that. And then there is the Social Design Institute, and Lucy's going to say a lot about that. But the reason we have these institutes is we're at a moment when we're identifying the strategy, the next 10 years, and actually the next 30-year strategy of this university, and those challenges around the interrelationships between technology, between climate emergency, social and material sustainability, and between social and cultural difference and diversity, and the issues of migration, that will just thematically connect all of these issues. And we're using these emerging projects of the institutes to work out what is the place of a creative arts institution within making the world address these hugely challenging issues, not to solve them, but to engage in them, not always to have a point of view on them, but sometimes to make the frames and make the understanding that much more complex and that much more challenging to address. That seems to me the very purpose of a university and the very purpose of art, design and creative arts, to reframe and identify and progress the debates and the engagements on these issues. So we're trying to do something quite complex, I think, in the institution, which is to work out our future through our disciplines and through some huge global challenges. And the Social Design Institute has a fundamental role to play, both within its own disciplinary concerns, but also within the future of the university, and then within the future of the planet. So, nothing modest there at all. And at that point, I'm going to hand over with huge expectations to Lucy Kimbell, who in this pilot year is the Institute's quite incredible director. Thank you very much.
In a moment, I'm going to introduce tonight's keynote speaker. But first, I'm going to make a few remarks about the moment we're in and the potential and limitations of design research to address contemporary challenges and what universities can and should do. So if tonight is a launch of the Institute, it's the launch of our pilot year, during which we will establish what the Social Design Institute is and does. And with colleagues and students across UAL and with the partners, researchers in other disciplines and communities they work with, over the coming months we will collectively institute the sets of relations within which the Social Design Institute will become active and meaningful. And in so doing, we will be working at two levels. One level will be moving towards creating an academic startup with porous boundaries, building on and amplifying UAL's research leadership in design against crime, public and social innovation, sustainable fashion and textiles, and circular design. We'll be engaging with our staff and students, especially our 60 PhD students specialising in social design and design for sustainability, and partners who want to achieve positive and equitable change. But on another level, we'll also raise questions of the kinds that universities should ask about the disciplines and practices we teach and reproduce. We will also ask broader questions concerning the civic and social roles of institutions such as universities and the particular kind of university that UAL is. Many participants in the London Design Festival would make the claim that professional designers and those using design have much to offer in the face of challenges such as the climate emergency, child obesity, knife crime, distrust of government, and so on. Across the festival are countless examples of new products, new devices, new furniture, and proposals for services and systems change that often dazzle and surprise. This is a heroic vision of design in which designers and those advocating design thinking can stride forward with insights and ideas, methods and prototypes and service scripts to support or even drive change and transformation. One way of responding to this is to study the effects, review the claims, demonstrate impact, build alliances, and spread this potential further. Another is to ask, why? Why now? Why this? What conditions make it possible for some design outcomes to be realised and for particular practices to unfold? What values are created or reproduced through the work of designing and as new products, services, places, institutions, and systems take shape? What forms of inequality and exclusion emerge? What are the unintended consequences of a newly confident and well-resourced social design expertise becoming visible? As we give form to the Social Design Institute at UAL, we will explore the formats and institutional arrangements implicated in future designs and future designing. We will emphasise the need to critically assess how the design profession and some of its practices have come to have agency and legitimacy to drive, or at least perform, change. And we'll develop new understandings of the specificity of design's material and futurising practices. Every decision to invite a speaker is a decision not to invite someone else. We've chosen tonight to invite Guy Julia, whose research in design over several decades has informed key debates and engaged many researchers and practitioners in knowledge co-creation. Guy is Professor of Design Leadership at Aalto University, Helsinki, having previously been in a post jointly held between Brighton University and the Victoria and Albert Museum. Before that, he is Professor of Design at Leeds Metropolitan University, where, among other things, he co-founded and led Design Leeds, a cross-disciplinary research and consultancy unit practicing social design. His book, Economies of Design, published in 2017, is the first substantial account of design that closely examines the connections between the contemporary economic context and the forms and practices of design evident in the global north. Earlier books, published in several editions, in the case of The Culture of Design, have created a new way of discussing design, which connects design production, consumption, and everyday life. And among other contributions, Guy's design culture salons have brought together leading thinkers and practitioners from many fields and disciplines to explore their mutual connections and disconnects. And if you visited the Milan Triennale, you'll have seen the finished pavilion, but I'll let Guy refer to that. He's therefore a very relevant speaker to invite to share some of his perspectives on social design as part of today's events, as well as being a personal collaborator, comrade, and friend. Guy's going to speak for about 30 minutes, and then we'll have time for a few questions, after which we invite you to enjoy and see the EMERGENCE show and the rest of the programme, and then join us for a drink afterwards to continue the discussion. So please join me in welcoming Professor Guy Julia to the stage.